How are you? Is it Marcel?
Yeah, my name is Marcel. I'm from Germany. I'm a film journalist slash student in university. Right now we are at home. So
Whereabouts are you in Germany? What part?
Berlin.
Oh, great.
Do you know Berlin?
Yeah.
I
I've
live
shot a
there.
couple of times in Berlin. Yeah.
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 First of all, how do you spend your time during Corona? I mean, in terms of auditions and stuff like that.
Oh, well, none of that is happening right now because everything's just stopped. There's no. I had like 3 projects lined up to go,
Mhm.
and everything is just ground to a halt. So it's really tricky. We don't know when things are going to be up and running again. People keep saying it might be August, but even if that does happen, one suspects that there still be social distancing
Mhm.
constraints in place. So it might be a question of going back to work and keeping 2 meter distance away from one another, even in the middle of filming the scenes themselves, or all of the production may have to stay in one hotel, or I mean, I don't know. It's a complete nightmare.
Yeah. For me, it's the same because I study filmmaking, so we can't go out and film stuff. We have to use smartphones to make
Yeah,
our work. So it's
crazy.
yeah, it's crazy too. But you already published or uh, come out 2 series of you, Code 404, and
Yeah, yeah.
next is White Lines. Can you talk a little bit about Code 404, about this project, about how did you get
Code
into it?
404 is a new comedy from Sky TV. Um, it's set in the near future. I play a policeman called John Major, who is at the very beginning of the show is gunned down and killed, but because he's the best policeman in the unit, they decide to bring him back part man, part AI, but all the wiring's gone wrong and he gets into all sorts of scrapes and mishaps, and it's basically ensues a comedy of errors. But my partner in the show is an actor called Stephen Graham. Do you know Stephen Graham?
Yes,
Yeah,
from
so he's
Boardwalk Empire.
that's correct. Yeah, Stephen and I are very close friends. So we worked together 15 years ago and we've stayed in contact ever since. And we've always said we've wanted to do something together again. And this seems, because, we're both predominantly known for hard hitting, serious roles. And this was a chance to do something completely different and do something silly and comedic. But the response over here has been amazing. It's sort of, my Twitter feed hasn't stopped pinging for the past 5 days. So people, I mean, it's the perfect show. I guess any new show is perfect for lockdown, but Code 404 is very funny. It's got a conspiracy thriller that runs through it. There's a love triangle because in the year it's taken my character to be brought back from the dead, Stephen's character Roy has fallen in love with my wife, played by Anna Maxwell Martin. So there's lots of different elements that make it a really fantastic show to watch. So there's that. That's the first thing. I mean, I was ridiculously busy up until lockdown. So that show's coming out, and a really amazing new show about to come out on Netflix is White Lines. Which, do you want to know about White Lines?
Yeah.
White
Of
Lines
course.
is the most brilliantly bonkers show you're ever going to sit down and watch. It is set on the island of Ibiza. 20 years ago, a superstar DJ by the name of Axel Collins, who came from Manchester, who left Manchester 20 years ago with a group of his friends, one of which I play, a guy called Marcus Ward, who's also an aspiring DJ, and he's the best friend of Axel. And they all up sticks and left for Ibiza 20 years ago and became this roaring success. They opened loads of clubs. He was infamous, Axel, on the island. And then he mysteriously went missing, presumed dead. 20 years later, his mummified body is unearthed on the land of the Califat family, who are a kind of like underground mafioso type family on the island. And his sister, played by the exceptional Laura Haddock, travels back from Manchester to Ibiza to discover and investigate what's happened to a much loved older brother. So it becomes this, it's like a murder mystery, but then it slowly becomes a voyage of self-discovery for Zoe's character. And there's sex, there's drugs, there's music. The locations were to die for. The soundtrack is off the scale. So there's murder, there's mystery. It's hilarious. It's unlike anything you've watched before. And I think it'll really go through the roof when it's released on Netflix on the 15th of May.
Yeah, I already know that White Lines is coming from the creator of Money Heist.
That's correct, yeah. Alex Pina.
How did you get involved into this project?
I just got a call from my agent, and I was immediately, interested in it. It sounded like a completely amazing job to be part of. It's made by Left Bank Productions, who are the people behind The Crown, among other great shows. But, when you hear that, you think, well, they obviously know their onions. So, and then when I read the scripts, I mean, I have to say the part of Marcus, it just literally leapt off the page. He is, I keep saying this, is probably the most the role I've enjoyed the most playing. I've played a lot of roles, but this was right up there with the most enjoyable because, he's mid-40s and yet he still thinks he's the man. He's still a DJ on Ibiza, but he's falling into drug dealing. He's got a water sports business in which he imports kilos of cocaine and a huge yellow inflatable banana. He's going through, so 20 years later, when we come to see him in the story, he's on the downward curve in life. He's really struggling to make ends meet, and he's going through a divorce with the character called Anna, who is the love of his life, who was also part of the group. He's got 2 kids, and his trajectory through the series is pretty much a nervous breakdown. So that's why they called me in, because that's what I do. But he's a brilliant, tragic, comedic character, and he plays in both those tones. So he was just an absolute joy to bring to life. Yeah.
And can you tell me, the characters you played in both series are very different? I only saw Code 404 because I haven't got a chance to see White Lines yet. I only saw the trailer, which was incredibly funny to see when you got this pack of cocaine and the dog.
Yeah, you just reminded me, there's lots of cocaine in both these shows. I mean, that's the great thing about Code 404 and that character, is that all of his brilliant police instincts have sort of deserted him, and he's making all the wrong errors of judgment. He's kicking down the wrong doors. He's arresting the wrong people. He's trying to dispose of the evidence, which is the cocaine, by literally hoovering up his nostrils. It's a fantastic script from Daniel Peake, and it's just great to play in a comedy because, like I said, it's, I guess most people, certainly within the UK, think of me as delivering hard-hitting, serious drama. So, but I feel comfortable in both those worlds. I think it's some, for my own sanity, it's good to sort of stretch yourself and try and play something different.
How would you describe your character in White Lines? Is it more a funny guy? I mean, I only saw the scene and it was really funny.
Yeah, no, I guess he's a person that has an amazing bravado, in the sense that on the surface of things, he still has this or attempts to have this super cool veneer on things. He's outlandish. He still thinks he's the man, but you know, as the series unfolds, those layers of bravado are kind of peeled back, and you actually see this rather damaged, lonely, broken individual, really. I mean, that can be said to a certain extent, all of the characters in White Lines. I mean, it's an absolute extravaganza. And what's amazing about it is that you have two actors playing the same role. So the brilliant young actor called Kel Spellman, who's a Radio 1 DJ here in the UK, he's playing Marcus in his 20s. So, and as the series unfolds, it jumps back and forth between those two time frames. And so it gives it an amazing richness and believability and history. And it gives it a real kind of sense of loss, and it plays with your emotions. I mean, that's the great thing about White Lines. Its biggest compliment I can give it is that, yes, it's wildly entertaining and completely outlandish, but yet it's still sort of rooted in a real truth and emotion. And I think it makes it addictive television.
Yeah, sounds great. You know, the creator of White Lines is also Alex Pina. Have you met him? Have you heard of Money Heist before? I
hadn't watched Money Heist. I was completely oblivious to it, I have to say. So I was coming at Alex Pina's scripts completely fresh. I didn't have any preconceived ideas about how he was as a writer. So I was literally coming at it at face value with White Lines. And it just, I mean, and now subsequently watched Money Heist, I think he's an amazingly imaginative writer. You know, he's not a writer who's afraid to take risks and, you know, really push the boundaries as to what's acceptable and what's believable. But it never feels like it ever really oversteps the mark on White Lines. You know what I mean? And I love the risks he takes, and the imagination he has is. I mean, as an actor, you want to be involved in those types of shows. I mean, there's a sequence in White Lines where the huge banana of cocaine is delivered over his garden wall, and then I have to somehow pull this banana over a green manicured lawn over the grass, and it cuts on a sprinkler, and this perfect line of pure cocaine is drawn out over the grass on the lawn. And as soon as I read that, I thought, this is perfect. So as soon as I read that sequence, I thought, you know, this is a writer who's fantastic. So I really wanted to be part of the show.
Yeah. I heard a rumor, but it goes from the documentary of Money Heist that the showrunner wrote the script for the episodes besides shooting. Was that the same with White Lines, or was the script already finished when episodes?
I mean, Alex and his team of writers, I guess, very much they wrote, I think they had the front end of it's 10 episodes. I think they obviously knew the overall arc of the show, but they definitely wrote it as we were going along. I guess they were watching rushes and seeing what characters worked, and maybe you know, the weaker characters would fall away. But I mean, it definitely evolved as we were filming it. Yeah, which is an exciting place to be, if a little scary at times. But I mean, it's great. The crescendo to the series and the way that it ends is so fantastic. And it listen, man, it's absolutely begging to have a second series. And we all hope that will be the case.
Yeah, I think so, because you saw Money Heist was a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah. How many series has Money Heist done now?
Four.
Right, 4. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 4 with extremely depressive cliffhanger
Right.
because you wanna see more of it, but you know it's Corona and
Yeah.
yeah. Um, Question to you, because I'm also a filmmaker and I might be wondering what was the reason why you became to be an actor?
I'm one of 4 boys. I've got 2 older brothers and 1 younger. So I think it possibly was that thing of trying to do something different. My brothers were really good at sports. They were exceptional sportsmen. So, I mean, I played a lot of sport as well, but I mean, I don't know. It was something that I connected with, and it was maybe attempting to do something different to them and stand out in amongst the crowd, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that make perfectly sense. And I know so many actors talk about their craziest auditions or their experience with auditions. They never expected to go like that. Do you have some of that too?
An experience in an audition that was crazy.
Yeah.
And a crazy audition experience. I'm always very prepared for an audition. I'm always very. I don't know if. I mean, I did a lot of work with Mike Lee when I was a younger actor, and his audition process is quite unique because you have to become a character that you know in the room, and you don't talk. You just have to exist in the space. That was fairly odd. But in terms of like crazy audition experience, I mean, as I say, I'm prepared, and I always just want to leave everything that I've prepared for, leave it in the room, and stamp my own authority on the actual audition itself, rather than let them dictate as to what they think it should be like. I'm going to put my own marker on it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Last question to Code for. Can you name one of your favorite episodes from that show, or a favorite
Oh,
moment?
there's loads. There are loads of moments I love. I mean, I really do think the first episode is particularly strong. We've mentioned the cocaine moment. That's very funny because you see him spaced out on drugs in the car park after that. That's a very funny moment. And in actual fact, the last episode's very interesting as well because he kind of gets an upgrade to make him less shit. And he sort of becomes the policeman that the AI project wanted him to be throughout the series. So it was a sort of gear shift. But in terms of the funny moments, they are endless. I mean, and that's the amazing response that I've had from people on Twitter and friends that have emailed me just saying it's absolutely hilarious, Danny. And I think, people saying it's the funniest thing they've seen in years. When you get people saying that, you sort of pretty much know you're onto a winner. So it's great. Yeah, we're very, very proud of it.
Yeah, I saw the show too. I forgot to mention it, and I was completely impressed. It was so funny.
Oh, great.
It's
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Especially your chemistry with Stephen Graham.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked so perfectly. Like you know each other for so many years.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I mean, you can see that we're having a lot of enjoyment with it. We were corpsing and laughing a lot on the set, and I think that infectious energy and enthusiasm for the show has really come through in the performances.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much for that nice little chat, and I wish you all the best for White Lines, for Code 404, and I will see both of them again.
Cheers, Marcel. Listen, stay safe and well, mate. All the best.
Yo.
See you, mate.
See you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.